Thank you, Mr. Chair, for giving me the floor in exercise of the right of reply. Mr. Chair, multilateralism and our international system is in crisis for many reasons, and not least of which is the disdain with which Israel has treated the United Nations, to which it owes its establishment, but which since its establishment it has blatantly and unapologetically disrespected and ignored, violating every resolution from 181 to 194 to the present day. It does so because it does not respect international law, believes it is a state above the law, believes that it can come into international forums such as this and peddle rhetoric and propaganda, belittling and insulting sovereign countries who stand on principle and refuse to condone Israel's human rights abuses and war crimes and insist instead on the rule of law without exception. In the absence of true measures of accountability, and with continued shielding of it in the Security Council and elsewhere from actual consequences for its violations, Israel has become accustomed to being the exception, to getting away with its sins, emboldened to commit more and more. Doesn't want to hear from this committee or any country the calls to stop its crimes, to respect the law, to recognize the right of the Palestinian people to live as a free people like all other peoples on earth. It doesn't want to end its illegal colonial occupation and apartheid policies, and it proves this every day, entrenching and escalating its crimes. It wants everyone to look the other way, be awed by all the so-called wonderful things Israel does, while ignoring all the wrongful things Israel is doing to the people it is occupying, blockading, and persecuting. Does not want anyone to say it is an aggressor, to speak about the fact that it kills children and women, that its army and settlers hunt down Palestinian men and boys for sport, that it is holding millions in its captivity, that it destroys, pillages, and plunders, perpetrating violence and terror every single day for decades in order to maintain its control of another people and their land. So it distracts and diverts with arrogant rhetoric, false allegations, and hostile diatribes. The Israeli representative comes here and claims that resolutions which affirm principles and rules of international law and uphold human rights are the problem, not the violations and crimes that the occupying power is deliberately and systematically committing. He comes here and disrespects all of you, insultingly calling all delegations who speak and vote in support of the application of international law as the, quote, immoral majority. How is this acceptable in these diplomatic chambers? In response to his hysterical tirade, we have to ask, how is the involvement of the International Court of Justice a destructive step? How does the pursuit of justice not contribute to peace? Who believes that peace can be achieved without justice? How is turning to the principal judicial organ of the international community deemed escalatory and violent, called weaponization? How does a legal advisory opinion, quote unquote, threaten Israel? What peace process is the Israeli representative talking about when he refers to the negative effect this step will have on it, when Israel is the one that rejects negotiations and that has blocked the resumption of a process over and over again and is destroying the two-state solution, the international consensus for peace? Requesting an advisory opinion from the ICJ is actually a peaceful, legitimate choice against the backdrop of escalating Israeli crimes against our people and its obstruction of a political horizon. This is not a unilateral step. This is a multilateral step that the General Assembly can take based on international law, based on human rights, and based on conscience. Mr. Chair, what we heard today comes as part of a long-standing pattern aimed at discrediting, distorting, diverting, to hide the occupation's crimes and evade responsibility. No one should accept such libelous accusations against those who seek to uphold the law and seek to help the Palestinian people to realize their rights and justice. Distinguished delegates, I ask you to consider the threats and insults that you have just heard here in what is supposed to be a diplomatic forum and in full public view hurled against your countries, and just imagine what the Palestinian people are enduring under this illegal, violent, supremacist occupation every single day for over half a century with no end in sight. I thank you, Mr. Chair.